Minister, you're welcome back to this side of the Atlantic, and I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate our colleague Martin Ferris on the victory that Ardfort had on the weekend. Now, Minister, we're told that the farmers of Ireland, on top of a lipless fine of 180 million, are now facing a super-levy fine of 100 million. What I need to know from you today is what have you succeeded in doing to reduce or to eliminate this totally unnecessary fine altogether?
Thank you, Laskin Corla. Can I pass on my congratulations to Martin Ferris as well. First of all, it's not true to say that we're going to have to pay a lipless fine of 180 million euros. That is what the Commission has proposed. We're very much opposing that, and it's gone to conciliation, and it's still very much in a process. I think it's important to put that on the record. Secondly, the rules governing the imposition of a super-levy fine are set by regulations agreed at EU level. Under these regulations, each member state is allocated a volume quota of milk, above which a super-levy fine, which is just over 20 cents a litre, has been paid to the EU Commission by producers who contribute to the overproduction. And as the Deputy will know, we've had a very strong growing season last year. We had strong prices for most of last year, and an awful lot of farmers are planning for the abolition of quotas in the next couple of months. And as a result of that, we have seen the production levels on Irish dairy farmers on Irish dairy farms higher than we would have liked to have seen. Back in autumn, we were looking at a very, very large super-levy fine. By the end of January, the quota position looked at being 5.47% over quota, which would essentially mean a super-levy fine of about 88 million euros. So it is a significant issue. I have been pushing for ways in which we can reduce super-levy fine in the final year of milk quota as a way of soft landing, which was supposed to be the idea. We had a majority of member states in the European Union under in many ways, the leadership of Ireland in terms of the position that we'd taken along with 3 or 4 other countries, looking for what was called a butterfat adjustment, which would effectively have given us an extra 2% on our quota.
Thank you, Minister.
We also looked at actually reducing the level of super-levy fine per litre in the last year to ease us out of quota management. That hasn't been possible. What has been possible is to talk to the Commission about ensuring that any super-levy fine that is incurred could be paid over a long period of time, over a number of years.
Thank you.
And we are continuing to negotiate with the Commission on that. The Commission has indicated that they are happy that farmers would be allowed to pay co-ops over a number of years super-levy fines that they may have incurred.
Thank you.
And we're still negotiating with the Commission as to whether co-ops and Ireland would be able to pay the Commission over a prolonged period of time as well, which will certainly ease the
Deputy Cuív.
Minister, the first question I asked was the estimated cost of the super-levy fine as it would be estimated now, the steps taken to have it reduced. Now, on the first one I didn't get an answer, so you might give me an answer of what it's now estimated. Well, you said that was at Christmas.
I said at the end of January.
The end of January, yeah, well, into February, and presumably. The second question, so that would still be the situation? Yeah.
We'll come back to the Minister.
So that's fine. So we're facing an 88 million fine. And the best you're offering us is this clear, is that the liability is attached immediately and you get time to pay it off. Now, both ICOS and the Dairy Board, when they came into the committee, were very adamant that this country should fight to get the super-levy fine reduced. Are you telling me that you failed on the butterfat adjustment? Are you telling me that you have failed to get a reduction in the rate at which the super-levy is charged? Could you confirm that that is the situation and that you literally made no progress except possibly on deferment in a negotiation.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Deputy, I'm a bit surprised that you haven't informed yourself on this issue, quite frankly. You know, you're the main opposition spokesperson on agriculture here. I would have thought you would have been on top of the numbers yourself. We have seen over the last number of months, back last May, the anticipated super-levy fine on the trends at that stage was 9% over. In August, it was about 7%. Then it dropped down to 6%, and now it's 5.5%. So by the time we get to the actual end of the quota system, in a number of weeks' time, we will probably be down well below 5.5%, I would say. But it's still going to be a significant super-levy fine. So you are talking about a significant amount of money. We have had debates on this issue on many occasions. You know only too well what's possible and what's not. This requires an agreement across 28 European member states in order to get a change to the approach on soft landing. Ireland led an effort to introduce a butterfat adjustment, which was supported by a lot of other countries in increasing numbers, but it wasn't possible to get that over the line because a number of very large countries blocked it. And so what we're now doing instead is we're looking at making what is a significant fine affordable over a prolonged period of time, and we're trying to get that across the line with the Commission. And all of the farming organisations, as well as ICOS, know exactly what's going on here, and we're all working together to try and solve this problem as opposed to trying to play politics.
Thank you. Deputy O'Keefe.
You're the master of playing the politics. You promise a lot and you deliver very little. In fact, the question was the estimated cost of the super-levy fine in Ireland for 2015. You said at the end of January it was 88 million. What I thought you would have understood from the question is, we know that farmers are, for example, using milk for calves and so on to reduce the super-levy. What I was wondering is, working with the farm organisations or with the farmers themselves, how much do you think you can now reduce the super-levy fine by the time we get to the end game? That's what I wanted you to try to tell me. And my next question is, is it possible for farmers to deliver milk to milk companies, but to retain ownership of the milk until after the due date? And in that way, they will not have provided the milk to the companies within the due time and pay for the storage of the milk.
Thank you,
because this is a one-off basis, and because it comes to an end, if you can put the milk sale into next year, my understanding doesn't count for the super-levy. So what I want to know is, what has been done now that you've failed in Europe domestically to work with farming organisations and look at all possibilities so that the sales of milk decrease between now and the 1st of April, which could possibly be done by retention of ownership of the milk, even if it's in somebody else's storage.
Thank you.
Have you looked at that possibility?
Minister, final reply.
Okay, well, first of all, we haven't failed in Europe. If we can get agreement from the Commission on a schedule of payments over a number of years, that will make an enormous difference in terms of cash flow demands on farmers and on co-ops. And we have already, as I say, got an agreement in principle from the Commission that the relationship between farmers and their co-ops could be such that it would allow for a schedule of payments which would significantly ease the burden for farmers. And we are currently talking to the Commission, along with other countries, about trying to do the same in terms of Ireland's obligation to the Commission over a period of time. And that would be massive progress if it happened. If we had, for example, Deputy, got the butterfat adjustment, which would have been very welcome, we would still have a super-levy problem. Because we are at the moment 5.5% over. Butterfat would have been an adjustment of about 1.8%. So we would have still had a significant problem. So it is a very fair question for you to ask as to what are we doing between now and the closing date to try and help farmers reduce their super-levy burden.
Thank you, Minister.
And of course we're doing that through Teagasc, working with farming organisations and working with farmers. The question you asked, Deputy, about whether or not it's possible for farmers to essentially produce milk, have it collected by their co-op, and then retain ownership of it through the deadline period until we move to an absence of quota, and then effectively count it as milk produced outside of quota. I don't think that is possible, but we are looking at all those. A number of people have asked me to explore different possibilities in that regard, and we are exploring those possibilities
Thank you.
at the
Deputy
moment.
Martin Ferris,
But
next question.
I wouldn't like
Deputy
to
Ferris,
raise people's hopes too much on that. I don't think there's any easy
sorry,
fix here.
Minister, we're way over time.